I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Welcome back to the channel. We are been extremely busy here lately, but I had a great Thanksgiving. Took a couple days off, and it was a lot of fun. So hope you guys did too. We're going to talk about something today that's a little bit different than what we normally talk about because we're a homesteading channel predominantly, but we do talk about various aspects of life, and we're going to talk about something a little bit unusual today. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is this incident that I read about the other day. And what had happened is a lady goes out to the bar with her friends, and she comes home, and inside of her purse is one of those GPS tracking devices, one of those things that you put on your keys so you don't lose your keys. They're about that big, flat like a credit card, and they can slip in just about anywhere. This is a scary situation, and this is things are becoming more and more like this, and we're seeing more and more of this stuff throughout. Now, for those of you that don't know my background, I was an infantry officer in the Army before I moved here and started ranching. I spent 4 years in the National Guard up in Alaska, then 4 years on active duty between Fort Benning, Fort Bliss, and Afghanistan. And so, I've been around this stuff. I've been trained in this sort of self-defense, personal protection. Had a lot of training in this. I do a lot of personal training now. We still teach classes here. We're actually opening up a firing range here on the ranch that we'll be teaching a lot more classes on this stuff here locally. But what I wanted to discuss with this is just how bad things are getting. We're seeing massive inflation, right? The Fed put out 5.9, 5.6, something like that. The reality of it is that they calculated it how they did in the 80s. It would have been actually closer to 14%. So those are the real numbers that we're seeing. We're seeing 12 to 14% inflation this last year, and most of us did not see a 12 to 14% raise. So it's getting worse. We know when inflation goes up and poverty goes up, so too does crime. Crime goes up, and these things are getting worse. We're seeing human trafficking numbers that we have never seen before, and that's really what would probably happen. It was probably a spotter for a human trafficking organization. They threw the GPS in there. They would have tracked her for a little while until her guard was down and snatched her. Guys, this is just really scary, it's just getting worse. We're gonna see more crime, and so it just pays to be diligent at your house, making sure that you're doing things like making sure your floodlights, your security lights work on the house. You have good locks. We're diligent when we're going out. We're not going out with people that we don't know, but we're going out and going out in a capacity that's safe. We have a plan to get home. I'm not saying don't go out and have a good time. I'm saying that have a plan to get home safely before you leave your house. And especially for women, it's much more important. You guys are much more at risk. And that doesn't mean that guys we get to ignore it, but that does mean that y'all are more at risk. You are responsible for your own protection and making sure that you're in a safe area, that you're not running out of gas in a red light district, and that you're not having some problems, that you have good tires on your vehicle, that you can get where you need to get safely, and that you're not breaking down in these areas because you're driving a beater that has poor tires and that you run out of gas every time. That's a bad idea, and so we want to make sure that we're doing things to get us places safely, that we're putting a little bit of forethought into what we're doing and what our actions are. Like I said, this is we are not a security channel by any means. Even though I do have a background in it, that's not what this channel is dedicated to. This channel is just about us enjoying our homestead and our cows, and so that's what we want this to be about. But I wanted you guys to know about this incident that came up. This is really scary stuff, and especially because in our homesteading stuff, we're talking more and more about food shortages because that's becoming more and more of a problem. And so I wanted to bring this to y'all's attention. It's just very scary what the capabilities are now. Being able to slip something in your purse, if they'd put a piece of duct tape on that, put it underneath the bumper of her car, she never would have known it was there. She would have driven around for months. They would have been able to track every move that she made, and somebody would have grabbed her at a grocery store or something when she was unsuspecting. So, guys, I really appreciate y'all watching. Stay safe out there. If you like this kind of content, post something down in the comments. We may do more of this. Like I said, I do have a background in this. We're getting ready to open up our range here and do a lot more of this stuff for us personally, for our business, but we weren't intending on doing that much of this on our YouTube channel. But if you guys like stuff like this, please just let us know. We're happy to post more topics like this, and we can go over personal protection, home defense, firearm stuff. We can add that stuff in here as we can. So I really appreciate y'all watching, and make sure and like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Thanks.